This is awful. These are the worst chainsaws that I've ever ran in my life. Could I spend more time on this and get it to run better? Yes, I could. But ultimately, why? They're just trash. Now this Craftsman, on the other hand, all I had to do was put gas in it. She fired right up. Really a nice little saw. Hello gang, how we doing? So yeah. Look at what I got sitting in front of me. So gift. I have $30 for it, or $30 in it, and if I can sell it for $60, then I will have paid for 2 saws. Let me show you. This one right here. So the whole reason I wanted to get this saw was, what was it? Did it have a chain brake on it? Yeah. That's the whole reason I wanted to get this saw, is because it had a green chain brake. So I have since dyed it, right? So this is the 46cc. This one's just a, what is it? Oh shoot, I don't even know. Anyways, I think it's a 2775, I don't know. 2750 maybe. It's 46cc, same thing as the Poland Pro 4620 or the 295. But yeah, I wanted to buy that because specifically it has a green chain brake, and I've got another project that I'm working on that I'm not going to reveal right now at this moment that needed that green chain brake. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can guess what it is or what family it's in if it takes that same chain brake. But I wanted to buy that saw, and I could not get that saw without also purchasing this saw. So for the 2 saws, I paid 60 bucks. And came from a real cool guy, a real older gentleman that just had no use for him anymore. He's like, I never had any problems with him, but it's been so many years since I ran him, as per usual, you know. He's like, now they won't start up, you know. So I'm sure it's just fuel lines, maybe a carb rebuild, and they'll both run. So that one down there on the floor, totally worth having, and I am going to be building that up the same way that I built up Peter Frampton. And I have 1, 2, 3. There's a 4th one somewhere. I don't know where the 4th one is, but I have 4 of the Poland Pro 4620s or 295 or the green version, which is I think the 2750. And I will be building those all up into Peter Frampton clones, but their own spin. You know, their own spin on what Peter Frampton was. Like that one that I just shown you is probably going to be called the Green Goblin. Or just the Goblin. One of them is already spoken for by Tim. That one's Striper. I can't remember the other one's name. Anyways, but for now, I got to get this one running so that I can sell it and bring 60 bucks so that everything is paid for. Hopefully I'll be able to get 80 for it, but I doubt it, honestly. If you want to sell one of these things, you got to go cheap. Really, really cheap. This one was given to me. Same story, just sat for a long time, won't start. Now this one, on the other hand, let's talk about it. This is a 42cc. The green one that was just up here is a 38cc. This one is a 46cc, and I've heard that this is nothing more than basically one of these. Absolutely false. As soon as you put them side by side, you see and you're like, no, this is not that saw. Anyways, I don't know. I read it somewhere online or something, but this has a magnesium case. So this is probably a Chinese clone. One of the things that really got me excited about it was I was looking at that bar, and I really like the way these bars look. It's a good look. It's a good looking saw. It really is. It's a good looking saw. So I was looking at the bar, and I saw on there 78 drive links, 325 chain, baby. Yes, it does not have the low profile 3/8, which those crappy Polands right there, that's what they have. So this right here, I can tell already. Yeah, this is a clone saw. Hot dang diggity. This is just like the Weimars. I mean, there's little differences here and there. This one has a priming bulb in it. This one also has a different kill switch, but it's got the same top cover bolts. Very similar spark plug and air filter setup. Yep, it's got an aluminum top handle. That's the same intake, only it's better. This one has a gasket, a rubber gasket around it. So that is a better air filter setup. Yeah, I'm getting excited about this little guy. So this was very clearly one of those takebacks to Lowe's, or yeah, to Lowe's. Somebody buys it, you know the story. They buy it for one job. They had a limb fall in their yard or something like that. And they're like, I'm going to take advantage of the system. And they go to Lowe's and they buy a cheap chainsaw. They use it one time, get their job done, and then take it right back. At least that's what I assume. I could be wrong. Yeah, this is just like the Weimars, but different plastic. Come on, let go, let go. Boy, that spark plug wire doesn't want to come off. Yeah, it's got gasket material up top, probably for sound deadening or something. I am going to measure out the stroke of this thing and make sure as to what it is. Okay, so I just ripped off the muffler, took out the spark plug, and I measured it out. It has a 43 millimeter bore and a 32 millimeter stroke, which does in fact make this 46.47 cc's. This is advertised as a 46 cc saw. And yes, it is clearly a clone saw. This is a clone saw, which means that if you have one of these, there's all kinds of different options for crank and cylinder and stuff. And I think that I am not sure on this at all, but I think maybe you might be able to get a different crank and a different cylinder and crank this out all the way to 62 cc's. You might have to stop at 58 cc's though. I don't know. But this little guy's got me excited because I had no idea that it was a clone saw. No idea whatsoever. I thought this was the same thing as this series of Polands. But they most definitely are not. So that's enough. Whenever I got it, this thing right here, this recoil cover was off, no screws or anything. And it also appeared that they had tried to use deck screws and stuff like that to hold it on. So I don't know what I'm going to have to do there, if I'm going to have to JB weld. Somebody was like, you love JB Weld. Hey, it's a good product. It works well. It doesn't really seem as though the threads are stripped out. I might just actually have the proper bolts for it. Come on, you're going to go. And there we go. So yeah, I think I'll be able to get this thing back together and get her to fire up. Enough of the hoo-ha. I got to get to work. Progress made. This one right here, I did get it to fire off, but it never would pull probably past, like, say, 4,000 RPMs. Just wasn't getting fuel. So I rebuilt the carburetor real quick and still having problems. So this one right here would be a candidate for one of those made in China carbs that you can get for 20 bucks, the whole shebang off of Amazon. Slap it in here. Maybe I'll do it someday, maybe I won't. Honestly, if I had somebody in the Atlanta area that wanted it, I wouldn't mind giving it to you because these things are just total trash. This is awful. These are the worst chainsaws that I've ever ran in my life. So this one right here wasn't too much better. I did get it to run though, and it, again, you know, I mean, you could probably unstop the muffler, do a few little things to it, and maybe get it to be a decent saw, maybe. But this is already small at 42 cc's and big and pretty heavy for 42 cc's. That one right there was only 38 cc's, and it's just useless. This one right here, I mean, the chain on it ain't the best in the world, but if it fires up, you'll see. Could I spend more time on this and get it to run better? Yes, I could. But ultimately, why? They're just trash. I mean, seriously, junk. Now this Craftsman, on the other hand, all I had to do was put gas in it. She fired right up. Really a nice little saw. Untouched chain, you know, it's somebody probably ran this. Oh, it's tight as the Dick's hat band too, but I just wanted to see if it would run, and I tuned it a little bit, but not much. The muffler's really corked up on it. But I think this thing has something to offer. I really do. And so I'm excited about playing with this. It needs help too, but I think the parts are out there and the platform is ready to be messed with. So from what I can tell from my very limited testing, if you want a cheap off-the-shelf chainsaw, get one of these Craftsman. 46cc, mind you. Don't get that 42cc. Why? Why would you even do that? Why? Why? Get the 46cc. It's got a magnesium case. It is a clone saw. And what do we know about clone saws? What we know about clone saw is they cloned a better saw. And so, obviously, it's pretty good. I feel so bad for the engineer team that had to design those dang Polans. Because you know they're capable of better than that. You know that they are. The problem is they had somebody in a shirt and tie, or coat and tie, saying, no, it needs to be less expensive. We need to cut corners everywhere that we can. And the engineers were going, but you're asking me to design trash. And they were like, yes, we know. So it's just pathetic, man, how bad those things are. That is my second of the 42cc Polans, the Strato cylinders. And then my first 38cc. And my neighbor had one do one for him. It was a Wild Thing. It was a 42cc Strato cylinder Wild Thing. Put a new carb and everything on that, all new fuel lines and stuff, and everything was good. It was good. It would start up and it would run as good as it's supposed to run. It was junk, just junk, and it's sad. I hate it, you know. But this right here, very excited about that. I'll hold on to that for a little while. Maybe I'll play around with it. Maybe I'll look into getting a bigger crank and piston and seeing if they fit. Because that'd be pretty cool to have a 62cc Craftsman. Especially because this is a nice, compact little chassis. Oh, get this. I tried to put that 38cc Poland into this thing's hard case. This thing came with a hard case. The thing wouldn't even fit. It's a 38cc and it's bigger than this 46cc, which has potential of going up to 58, maybe even 62 cc's. So yeah, that's why I'm like, yeah, this is perfectly acceptable. $179, $189, whatever they are at Lowe's. Bam, buy one of these things. This is a Craftsman S205. 20-inch bar, 325 chain. Does it have an adjustable oiler? It does. It's got an adjustable oiler. Of course it does. It's a clone saw. So that is that's pretty all right there. Those Polands, man. I'm sorry if you guys are out there and this is what you have. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Even if they run good and you're like, mine starts up and runs for me. Good. I'm glad. I'm very, very glad. But the power that they're capable of putting out is so minuscule. They're just dreadfully awful saws. And why? I mean, it's sheer ignorance is what it is. Now, if you get one for 10 bucks and want to play with it, I get it. I understand that. I really do. If you get one for 30 bucks and want to play with it, I get that. But the sheer ignorance of somebody going to the store and paying, those things are like 239 bucks or something. You know, I mean, maybe 189. I don't know. They're just trash. I think that I've beaten that enough. But this little Craftsman's good.